शङ्खचक्रधर सर्वेशा जनार्दन जगन्नाथ शङ्खचक्रधर सर्वेशा श्रितजनपाल श्रीनिवास श्रितजनपाल श्रीनिवास कलियुगवरद श्रीवेङ्कटेश श्रीधरा केशव श्रीधरा केशव श्रीकर शुभकर ऋषिकेश जनार्दन जगन्नाथ शङ्खचक्रधर सर्वेश अगणित गुणगण अनन्तरूपा आनन्दामृत अमित प्रताप श्रीधरा केशव श्रीकर शुभकर ऋषिकेश जनार्दन जगन्नाथ शङ्खचक्रधर सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेमदेवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः Swasti no brihaspatirdadhato. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Athashvalayanah Bhagavantam Parameshtinam Upasametyo Vacha Adhihi Bhagavan Brahma Vidyam Vareshtham Sada Sadbhih Sevyamanam Nigudham Yaya Chirat Sarva Papam Vyapohya Parat Param Purusham Yati Vidwan Tasmai Sahovacha Pitamahascha Dhyana Yogadavaihi Na Karmana Na Prajaya Dhanena Tyage Naike Amritattvamanashuhu Parinanakam Nihitam Guhayam Vibhrajate Yat Yatayo Vishanti Vedānta-Vijñāna Sunischitartha Sannyasa Yogad Yataya Shuddha Sattva Te Brahmalokeshu Parāntakāle Parāmritat Parimucyanti Sarve. Yes. The great sage Ashvalayana approached Lord Brahmaji for self-knowledge. So first, Lord Brahmaji mentions the qualifications necessary in order to gain the knowledge. What are the conditions? Shraddha, Bhakti. A mind filled with Shraddha, Bhakti alone can gain the knowledge. And with this preparation, one has to do the meditational practices, namely Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana. So then the Lord starts giving the knowledge. What is the knowledge? This Amritattvam, everybody is craving for happiness, everybody seeks immortality. Whatever you seek, it is already there with you. It is your nature. That peace, happiness, bliss, perfection, whatever you seek, it is already yours. But what is the mistake we have done? Instead of identifying with what we are, we have identified with what we are not. So all of us, we are none other than pure consciousness, which is Sat Chit Anand. It is infinite, it is immortal, it is blissful. But instead of identifying with this pure consciousness, we have identified with the body, mind, intellect. Now what is the nature of the body, mind, intellect? Any BMI is imperfect. So when we identify with an imperfect BMI, we experience imperfection. Now will we be happy with imperfection? We can never be happy with imperfection because imperfection is not our nature. Perfection is our nature. So all of us, we crave for perfection. So what are the different ways in which we are trying to come out of this imperfection? Karmana, prajaya, dhanena. Various means are employed in order to come out of this suffocation. Because we can never be happy with a state of imperfection. Everybody is struggling hard in different ways, in different fields. Now what does the teacher say? None of these methods are going to work because this perfection is already yours. You have ignored this perfection, therefore you are experiencing imperfection. Because of identification with the BMI, you are experiencing imperfection. So since identification is the cause of experiencing imperfection, what should be the solution? Disidentification will be the solution. This disidentification is termed here as tyagena. Na karmana na prajaya dhanena tyagena eke. This tyaga alone, this disidentification alone will give you perfection, will give you immortality. This great truth which is nihitam guhayam, it is already there. Vibhrajate, shining in your own heart. You don't have to go anywhere, you don't have to do anything. It is already yours. It is your birthright. It is your nature. But then you have to strive forth in the right direction. This is important. The winding has been done in a particular direction. So if the unwinding has to be done, then it has to be done exactly in the reverse direction, isn't it? So there is a way. You are bound because of a certain identification in a certain manner. So now, if you want to free yourself from this bondage, that disidentification, there is a method, there is a procedure. So what is that procedure? So here, Bhagavan gives the series of sadhanas to be performed by a seeker in the right direction. What is that sadhana? Vedānta-Vijñāna sunischitārthaha Sannyasa yogat yatayaha shuddha sattvaha te brahmalokeshu parāntakāle parāmritat parimucyanti sarve. So yesterday we were briefly discussing all this. So what is the first term? Yatayaha, the one who is striving. Why is he striving? He is striving because he has understood the value of knowledge. He has understood where I have gone wrong. That is the first step. The first step is to realize that I have been doing something wrong, because of which I am suffering. The world is not the cause of my sorrow. I myself, I am the cause. I have gone somewhere wrong. Let me correct myself. So yatayaha is a person who are striving in the right direction after having gained the right knowledge from the teacher. So yatayaha means ek karma yogi. That is where you start. The first step is performing karma yoga. Performing all our actions, performing all our duties, responsibilities as a worship of the Lord. Then what happens? Through karma yoga, one attains chitta shuddhi, which is indicated by the second term, shuddha sattvaha. Performance of action with the right attitude will make your mind pure. Purification of the mind has to be done. Once the mind is pure, the mind is available for higher knowledge. So then the next term, sannyasa yogat. Taking up sannyasa yoga. So what is the major responsibility of a sannyasi? Sannyasi's major responsibility is only one, shravana, manana, nididhyasana. Here we are not talking about a physical outward sannyasi. We are talking of a person who has achieved purity of mind. In order to do the shravana and manana, you must have a pure mind. Otherwise, if you involve yourself in the shravana manana, mind will wander everywhere into the worldly things. Shravana manana cannot be done properly. So when we are talking of a sannyasi, we are talking of people who have purified their mind, who have become fit. Now there is a deep interest in this higher knowledge. Now he is always working on the spiritual knowledge. So such a sannyasi we are talking of. Such a person, after doing shravana, manana, nididhyasana, what happens to him? Next step, Vedānta-Vijñāna sunischitārthaha. The end result is you become sunishchita, firmly convinced, clear about the artha of Vedānta-Vijñāna. The essence of Vedanta, what is it? What is it that the Vedanta is speaking about? Vedanta and Upanishad, both are one and the same. What is this knowledge? So through Shravana, you get information. Manana takes you to conviction. Nididhyasana takes you to transformation. So such a person who has been transformed, who has digested well this Vedānta-Vijñāna, what happens to him? Parāntakāle. Antakāla means death, end. Parāntakāla means final death. What is this final death? He has attained final death. Here the death is not the death of the physical body. Death is the death of the ego. What is this ego? Consciousness identified with BMI is called ego. Consciousness identified with matter is ego. The moment consciousness disidentifies with matter, ego is dead. As long as consciousness remains identifies with the matter, ego survives. When does the ego die? When consciousness disidentifies, tyaga is done, then the ego dies. Once the ego is dead, what remains is only pure consciousness. All the sufferings also end with the end of ego. Now let us take the same example of the film theatre. The person is watching the film is a real person. Then there is a movie character which is unreal. Now who is the one who is crying in the film theatre? The real person need not cry, because whose problem it is? Problem belongs to the unreal. Real person need not cry. Unreal person cannot cry. Then who is the one who is crying? Real identified with the unreal, a third entity is born by the combination of real and the unreal. This third entity is the crying entity. Correct? Real person need not cry. Unreal person cannot cry. Then who is crying? The real identified with the unreal is crying. So moment identification goes, what happens to this third entity? Third entity disappears. It is dead. In the same way, consciousness need not cry. What is the nature of consciousness? Ananda Swarupa. It need not cry. Matter cannot cry because it is jada. Then who is crying? Consciousness identified with BMI is the third entity, which is the ego. Ego is the crying fellow. So what happens when the identification is dropped? Tyagena. What happens? Amrutattva manashu. The third entity disappears. Now this disappearance of ego is called Parāntakāla. Final death. Every time it is the ego which is born, it is the ego which dies. Every birth, every death is for whom? It is for the ego. Once you have through knowledge killed this ego, now this ego cannot appear again. It is the final death. Even while living, the ego is dead. It is not that after physical body is dropping, the ego is dead. No. Even while living, ego is dead. Right? So that state is called Parāntakāla. How did he attain this? Through Vedānta-Vijñāna. Through Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. And then what happens? Parāmritat. He attains the highest immortality. Now why is it called? Amrita itself is enough. Why Parā-Amrita? Because normally what happens is, even the heavenly state is called Amritattva. Because there, this jiva who has done the punya, he lives for long, long years. So relatively it is a state of eternity. Relatively. In the scriptures you will find. For a long, long years this person remains in the heaven. For that long, long years. So compared to the earthly lifespan, that heavenly lifespan is comparatively or relatively eternal. So therefore here it is at Parāmrita, highest immortality, to indicate that this is not like that heavenly state where you have to come and go. Kshine punnye martya lokam vishanti. You have to come down. But here there is no coming back. It is for eternity. Parāmritat. And then abiding in that abode of Brahman, Brahmalokeshu, he abides. And thus parimuchyanti, becomes free from all kinds of bondage. This is the sequence of a sadhaka. So put it in a simple way. Karma yogena chitta shuddhihi upasanena chitta ekagrata shravanena ajnana nivrittihi mananena samshaya nivrittihi nididhyasanena vasana nivrittihi. These are the stages. Everyone has to go from the lower to the higher. No shortcuts available. Right. Now this verse can be explained in a different way also. Because there are two types of mukti possible in this world. One is called Sadhya-Mukti, the other is called KRAMA-MUKTI. Two types of mukti is possible, liberation. In our scriptures, such a description is there. Sadhya-Mukti means immediate liberation. What is immediate liberation? In this life itself you gain this knowledge and be liberated. That is called Sadhya-Mukti, which we have discussed so far. Whatever we have discussed is Sadhya-Mukti. Now there is something called KRAMA-MUKTI also. Liberation in stages is called KRAMA-MUKTI. What is that? It is possible that a seeker may not have desire for liberation. He may have some other desire. What is the desire? Let me see the different worlds, and then in the end, so there is a desire to enjoy various pleasures in the different worlds. Because varieties of seekers are present. So he wants to see what are the higher worlds. Bhuhu, Bhuaha, Suaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. So what happens to such seekers? They have not done Vedānta-Vijñāna. They have done Upasana. Their mind is extremely pure. Kama, Krodha, Lobhadi, negativities are not there. Mind is pure. At the same time, they are not seeking the Vedantic knowledge. Therefore, they cannot be liberated. Now, what should happen to them? They have done the Upasana. Their minds are pure. What should happen to them? They have somewhere some desire to experience different worlds. So what happens to them is, all these descriptions are there in Bhagavatam. So they leave the body and then they go to different worlds. They go through all those, what you call, pleasures in those worlds, joys in those worlds, and ultimately they reach Brahmaloka. In Brahmaloka, they remain in that loka. There is no old age, disease, etc. It is said in Brahmaloka there is only one pain, compassion for the people who are suffering in this Bhuloka. That is the only pain they suffer. They feel sorry for them. Such possibilities are there. And look at these people indulging in all pleasures, wasting such a wonderful time. This is the only pain, they say. And it is said, once you reach Brahmaloka, now Brahmaloka also has to attain dissolution during Pralaya. So at the time of Pralaya, when Brahmaji himself is going to die, that is called as Parāntakāle. Para there means Brahmaji. So when Brahmaji is going to, means the whole thing is going to dissolve, Pralaya time has come. At that time, Brahmaji himself gives this Vedānta-Vijñāna to the people residing in the Brahmaloka. So, in the Brahmaloka, Brahmaji does what? Vedantic class he takes. And thus, Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasana you have to do there. You have no choice. Liberation is possible only through knowledge. So, ultimately, Brahmaji gives them knowledge and makes them free. So, this is called KRAMA-MUKTI. So that also is mentioned here. So if you are talking of KRAMA-MUKTI, then Brahma-lokeshu means that Brahma-loka. If you are talking of Sadhya-MUKTI, then it will mean abode of Brahman. So both the muktis put in one verse. Since we are not interested in KRAMA-MUKTI, because it will take crores and crores of years. Brahmaji's lifespan itself is 300 crore human years. So if you have that much patience, then go ahead. But since we are not interested in, we will not get into detail of that. We are interested in Sadhya-MUKTI. In this birth itself, let us put a full stop. Right. Now, Brahmaji speaks about Antaranga-Sādhanā. Antaranga-Sādhanā means, at the seat of meditation, what are you supposed to do? Everything has been mentioned clearly. What is the goal? What are the stages? Now the next is, at the seat of meditation, what are the initial preparations you have to do just before meditation? There are two types of sadhanas. One is called Bahiranga Sadhana, the other is called Antaranga Sadhana. Bahiranga Sadhana means general preparation. What do you mean general preparation? Throughout the day, what are you supposed to do? Live a clean life, pure life. That is a general preparation. But at the seat of meditation, just before meditation, what are the preparations needed to be done? It is called as Antaranga Sadhana. So some instructions are given regarding Antaranga Sadhana. Next one, I think it is page 31. Vivikta deshe cha sukhasanastha shuchis samagriva shirashariraha atyashramasthas sakalendriyani niruddhya bhaktya swagurum pranamya hrit pundarikam virajam vishuddham vichintya madhye vishadam vishokam vivikta deshe cha sukhasanastha shuchis samagriva shirashariraha atyashramasthas sakalendriyani niruddhya bhaktya swagurum pranamya hrit pundarikam virajam vishuddham vichintya madhye vishadam vishokam. So what are the preparation to be done? There are totally 8 factors. Some of the factors are given here. So we will just first list down what are those. At the seat of meditation, before meditation, what are the factors to be taken into account? Number 1, deshaha. Deshaha means the place of meditation. Which place you choose? Deshaha. Second one, kalaha, time of meditation. At what time? Which is the best time for meditation? Deshaha, kalaha. Third one, asanam. On what you should sit to meditate. Asanam. Third one. Fourth one, sharira sthitihi, the posture of meditation. Sharira sthitihi. Fifth one, prana apana gatihi. How should be your breathing? Inhalation and exhalation. Pranapana gatihi. Next one, indriya nigraha, control over the sense organs. Seventh one, mano nigraha, control of the mind. Eighth one, buddhi nischaya, conviction in the intellect, clarity in the intellect. 8 factors. So any scripture you'll find Some of them, out of these 8, some of them are mentioned. So different scriptures will mention different. But these are the general categories. Deshaha, Kalaha, Asanam, Sharirasthiti, Pranapanagatihi, Indriya Nigraha, Mano Nigraha, Buddhi Nishchaya. Right? Now let us see what all things are said in here. What is said? Vivikta Deshe. Vivikta Deshe means what? Desha is mentioned. What is the kind of place fit for meditation? Vivikta. In solitude. A solitary place. Meditation should be done always in a solitary place. What is the verse in Bhagavad Gita which says this? Yogi yunjita satatam atmanam rahasi sthitah ekakiyata chittatma nirashira parigraha. Which chapter? 6th chapter. Yogi yunjita satatam atmanam rahasi sthitah. Always choose a place where you are alone. Ekaki. So a solitary place, and you should go alone there, not with company. Why is it a solitary place preferred? It is preferred because now you are going for an inward journey. For an inward journey, outer distractions must be minimum. It is possible only when nobody is there, you are alone. Right? Vivikta Deshe. So here time etc. is not mentioned. So which is the best time to meditate? Early morning is the best time. It's called as Brahma Muhurtam. That is a time when the nature is designed to be Sāttvika. See, all the brain related functions happen very well. Knowledge, because mind is fresh. Early morning you have taken good sleep. So therefore the mind is fresh. The problems of the day has not yet begun. Right? So if you had a good sleep, then early morning you are very, very fresh. And when you are fresh, you are at your best. And when you are at your best, meditation also will be your best. Isn't it? Morning is preferred. But suppose you can't do it in the morning because of professional commitments, etc. Then whichever time is suitable for you, whenever you are fresh, then that is the time to meditate. Kalaha. Now here what is the next term? Sukhasanastha. How should you be seated? Sukhasan. Now Sukhasan is a particular yogic posture. We are not talking of a yogic posture here. Sukhasanastha means that posture where you are most comfortable. It can be on a chair also. Not necessarily in Sukhasana. The point is, now you are going inwards. The body should not make any demands in the form of pain. So you can be in Sukha only if the body is in Sukha condition. Sukha means what? Comfortable. So that you can forget the body. So it goes without saying that your eating also has to be if you eat too much, again you are uncomfortable. So empty stomach is the best. Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkhaha. That is the general instruction. Throughout the day, let there be moderate sleep, moderate eating, everything be moderate. Then yogaha bhavati dukkhaha, the remover of sorrow. Don't go to the extremes. So at the seat of meditation, let the body be absolutely comfortable, whichever the posture may be. Because you are going to do meditation not with the body, but with the mind. So that is more important. Sukhasanastha. Then Shuchihi. Shuchihi means clean, pure. So what should be clean? No doubt the place should be clean. It should be physically clean. Worms and insects free from all that. So that you are not bothered about that place. One is physical cleanliness, the other is called spiritual cleanliness. Spiritually clean means what? When you sit there, you should feel like meditating. In some places, you don't feel like meditating. In the railway station, if you go and sit down, every place has got its own, as they say, vibration. Right? You go to that place and your mind also start thinking in terms of the happenings there. In a hospital, difficult. There are places you cannot do all this. Whereas in a temple, automatically you feel like withdrawing. Isn't it? In your puja room, you feel like sitting for meditation. So Shuchihi means not only physically clean, but also spiritually clean. Now these are all instruction for the beginners, please. For the advanced seeker, anywhere you put him, he'll be comfortably meditating. Because for him, withdrawal is very easy. External disturbance will not create any trouble for him. We are not talking of an adept in meditation. We are talking of beginners. So therefore all these little instructions. Shuchihi. No doubt external thing also should be clean. Internally also clean. Body also should be clean. Take a bath and sit down. Shuchihi means let the body be clean. Clothes also fresh. All this instruction goes with this term Shuchihi. Then what should be the posture? Sama Griva Shiras Shariraha. A similar verse comes in Bhagavad Gita also. Samam Kaya Shiro Grivam Dharayan Achalam Sthiraha. Same thing is pointed out here. Sama, in straight line. What are the things to be in straight? Griva. Griva means neck. Shiraha, head. Shariraha. Sharira means body. So that position where your head, neck and body is straight, which is that posture? It is called Shavasana. Lie down. So you have to use common sense here. So here, Sharira doesn't mean the whole body. Sharira means from the neck to the hip. That is called here. So, Shira, Griva, Sharira should be straight, perpendicular to the ground. Straight. Samagriva Shira Shariraha. Then, Atyashramasthaha. He should be stationed in Atyashrama. What is Atyashrama? Atyashrama means sannyasashrama here. One who is established in sannyasashrama. Meaning, at the seat of meditation, be a true sannyasi. During that half an hour or 1 hour when you are seated for meditation, forget about everything worldly. Forget about all worldly responsibilities. Be a sannyasi during those times. So who is a sannyasi? Sannyasi is the one who has kept God as the highest priority. What happens if you sit with all the worldly problems in mind? Then you will not do meditation on God, you will do meditation on worldly problems only, isn't it? You are seated there not to meditate on worldly problems, you are seated there to meditate on the ultimate reality. So therefore, at least during that 1 hour, be a sannyasi. Forget about the world. Everything worldly, keep it aside. Mobile, switch off. Don't keep your mobile besides you. Right? Keeping this as the highest goal. Then you are in that sannyasa ashrama. Sannyasa means Samyaka Nyāsa. Very well renounced, that is the meaning. Nyāsaha means renunciation. Sam plus Nyāsaha, very well renounced. What has been very well renounced? The world. Where? Not externally, but at the mind level. At the seat of meditation, mentally you must renounce the world, meaning you should not think about the world. You should think only about God, the ultimate reality. Atyashramastha. Then what has to be done? Sakala indriyani nirudhya, having restrained all the indriyas. Now all these indriyas are no use at the seat of meditation. Why? Indriyas are useful only when you interact with the outer world. The sense organs like eyes, ears, etc., they are needed only when you are interacting with the outer world. Now here, those indriyas are not needed because now you are into the inner journey. Just like that flight, what does it do? Once it takes off, what does it do with the tires? It withdraws because the tires are not useful in flying. In the runway it is useful, but once it takes off, tires are not needed. It withdraws. In the same way, sakala indriyani nirudhya, withdrawing. Then, bhaktya swagurum pranamya. Now, with all devotion, prostrate unto your guru, your teacher. Who is your guru? The one who has inspired us to walk the path of spirituality. The one who has cleared our doubts in the field of spirituality. Right? One who is a role model for us in spirituality. Such a person is called a guru. You may have or you may not have seen him in person, doesn't matter. What is important is, he is the one who has taken you to the spirituality. Such a person is called guru. So what has to be done? Bhaktya, with devotion, with humility, with gratitude. Remember him, mentally prostrate unto him. So whenever that guru comes, these feelings should automatically come. Bhakti, and then gratitude, kritatnyata, and then vinaya, humility. Meaning, don't dare to enter into meditation with your arrogance that I have studied everything. Now let me see who this God is. To the extent you have these qualifications, to that extent meditation will be smooth, it will be efficient, it will be deep. Do you want depth in meditation? Ego has to be kept aside. And the best way to keep the ego aside is remembering your teacher, remembering the Lord. Bhaktya, swagurum pranamya, with total humility, with total surrender, with all gratitude, with reverence, bowing down. And when you bow down, what happens? See the next term, a beautiful term is used, Hrit Pundarikam. Hrit Pundarikam means the heart lotus. Beautiful term. Heart lotus. Why is heart compared with a lotus? Lotus has got two states. One is this. What is this? Closed, gloomy. Am I right? And then this. What is this? Fully blossomed. So in the presence of that sun, you see that lotus fully blossom. So fully, what you call, there is a bloomy state and there is a gloomy state. Isn't it? In the same way, our heart has also got two states. Sometimes it is gloomy. In this state, no meditation is possible. Right? And sometimes it has to be, sometimes it is in a, what you call, fully blossomed. How does it blossom? Bhaktya swagurum pranamya. Don't attempt the highest meditation without filling your heart with all noble emotions. It's not possible. Many times we make this mistake. Intellectually we understand the concept of Vedanta and we try to meditate without taking care of the heart. So what happens when we bow down to the teacher, when we bow down to that Lord? Humility comes, reverence comes, that gratitude, all these are the noble emotions which will help your heart blossom. So with the tears in eyes, remembering all those wonderful things which your Guru has done, which your Ishta-devatā has done, those wonderful moments, and with total humility and total surrender, at that time you will find the heart has fully blossomed. Then what happens with that heart? Virajam. That heart becomes free from rajas. Vishuddham. Free from tamas. That heart becomes fully Sāttvik. A Sāttvik mind. Right. This is the most important preparation. Really speaking, it doesn't matter where you sit, when you sit, how you sit. What matters is, Hrit Pundarikam, has it blossomed? Is your heart filled with that love, devotion, surrender, humility? Is your heart like that? Then you are going to succeed. In fact, you have succeeded. The rest is very simple. Many times we don't pay attention to this. We pay attention to so many other things. Once this much has been attained, then Vichintya Madhye, start contemplation. This much has to be achieved. Then Vichintya, think of. Madhye, Madhye means in the core of your heart, in the core of your being. Madhye means center. Center means which center? Center of your being, core of your being. Earlier it was said, Nihitam Guhayam. Isn't it? So if it is in the Nihitam Guhayam, means existing in the Guha, in the cave of your heart. So here Madhya means in your heart, meditating upon that Supreme Lord, who is your very self, who is the very consciousness in you, which is the very core of your personality. How you should meditate? What are the pointers to be used to meditate? Now these pointers are mentioned. So here two pointers are given. Vishadam. Vishadam means clear. Vishokam, free from sorrow. Next verse contains many more pointers. Let us see the next verse. Achintyam avyaktam anantarupam Shivam prashantam amritam brahmayonim tathādi madhyanta vihinamekam vibhum chidanandamarūpamadbhutam Achintyam avyaktam anantarupam Shivam prashantam amritam brahmayonim tathādi madhyanta vihinamekam vibhum chidanandamarūpamadbhutam. Now these are all the terms indicating that consciousness. So yesterday we had seen some 15 terms, isn't it? So similarly, here there is a list of pointers given indicating or trying to describe that consciousness. So in the earlier verse, Vishadam, clear. Vishokam, free from all sorrows. So here what are the terms? Achintyam, this we had seen. What is Achintyam? Which cannot be thought of. And then Avyaktam. What is Avyaktam? Which cannot be grasped by our sense organs. Avyaktam means Agocharam, Atindriyam. And then Anantam, infinite. Anantarupam. This is its nature. Achintyam, avyaktam, anantarupam. Then Shivam, most auspicious. Mangalakaram. Why is it most auspicious? You meditate on it, and whatever be the kind of sorrow you have, it will go away. The moment you meditate upon the Lord, whatever be the kind of sorrow, whatever be the kind of dejection or depression or tension, or even the sin or the guilt feeling, whatever it is there, everything goes. Why? Shivam, most auspicious. That which gives us happiness is the most auspicious. Shivam. Even this body, people worship it, love it, adore it, bow down to it. The moment that life principle goes away, what happens to this body? This body becomes Shavam, isn't it? Shavam means dead body. So why is it this body appear to be Shivam, worshipful? Because of the presence of that ultimately auspicious Lord. Isn't it? The moment that Lord walks away from this body, the Shivam becomes Shavam. So how much more auspicious that Supreme Lord must be? Isn't it? Shivam, most auspicious. Shivam. Prashantam. Prashantam means prakarshena shantam. Absolute peace. Now these are all the descriptions of consciousness, remember. And who is this consciousness? My own true nature. So naturally you will have liking for everything, if you see. Prashantam. And then Amritam. Amritam, immortal, deathless. Brahma Yonim, it is the very source of even Brahmaji. Even Brahmaji is Brahmaji because of this. It is a very, it's a very life principle of even Brahmaji. Not only Brahmaji, all from Brahmaji till an ant, whatever beings are there, this consciousness is the life-giving principle there. Brahma Yonim. Tatha Adi Madhya Anta Vihinam. Vihinam, devoid of. Adi, beginning. Madhya, middle. Anta, end. That which is devoid of beginning, middle and end means what? That which is infinite. Infinite has got no beginning, no end. Earlier it is said Anantam. And then Ekam, the one. Only one. Why is it one? It is one because it is not two. Why it is not two? Because it is infinite. That which is infinite can only be one. Ekam. And then Vibhum. What is Vibhum? All pervading. Then Chidanandam. Chit and Anandam. Chit means what? Yesterday we had seen consciousness. Anandam, bliss. And then Arupam, formless. Why is it formless? Because it is infinite. Only finite things can have form. Infinite can never have form. So Arupam. And then Adbhudam, the most wonderful thing. Why is it most wonderful? The greatest wonder is, this is me. Now when you read this, you say, some Brahman is there which is infinite and immortal. The greatest wonder is, this is me. What has been described is, it is my own description. So how should we read this Upanishad, the Vedanta? We should read it as though you are looking into a mirror. Wow, what a beautiful thing is said about me. This is how you should see. Oh, I am like this. I never knew. This way. This is the way. So these are all the pointers to be used at the seat of meditation. So once your heart has been fully blossomed with devotion, dispassion, love, etc., then bring in these Vedantic pointers. So first, non-Vedantic thoughts have to be replaced by Vedantic thoughts. Then, now these are all Vedantic pointers. Pointers means what? Don't hold on to the pointer, leave the pointer and move towards the pointed. Because consciousness is anirdeshyam, it cannot be described. But even then some efforts have been made by the great sages and saints trying to describe it. And it's a description about me. So what has to be done? Bring in the Vedantic thoughts, recollect them at the seat of meditation, leave those words and be that. Just don't keep thinking about that, start being that. That thinking to being has to happen. Non-Vedantic thoughts, replace it by Vedantic thoughts. Then Vedantic thoughts should also be dropped, and then these Vedantic pointers have to be lived. Feel it. Be it. Alright? So what happens? There is only silence. Even the words which you have uttered in the mind, even that drops. What remains is only pure silence. What remains is only experience of the truth. Even the Vedantic thoughts have to die down. So Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji gives a beautiful example in Atma Bodha. So what is the example given? There the example is Kataka Renu. In today's world we can take the example of alum. You know alum? So what is it used for? Purify water, yes. So if there are some mud particles suspended in water, the water is muddy, what you have to do is take a piece of alum and then just, put it in it. Dissolve a little bit of alum powder. Then what happens is, this alum powder sticks to the suspended mud particles and then it becomes heavy and that heavy particle settles down. So ultimately what you find is a clean water with all the mud and the alum particles down. So the alum particles, they stick with the mud, fall down. Right? So what is this alum particle? The worldly thought is the mud particle. Then you put the Vedantic thought, that is the alum particle. So Vedantic thought not only removes the worldly thought, but it also settles down, so that there are no thoughts then. Thoughtless state. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa gives another beautiful example. Suppose there are a lot of thorns which has gone into your leg. So what you do? You take one thorn, remove all the thorns and then finally discard that also. In the same way, take Vedantic thought, remove all the worldly thoughts and finally drop that Vedantic thought also. Because thought is not a reality is consciousness. State of being is the reality. So this is what we have to do at the seat of meditation. Taking up all these terms, contemplating upon it and being it. Now naturally this state is going to be difficult. That Brahmaji also knows. This state is difficult because even your mind, you cannot take any support. It is a state where you can't take the support of even your own mind because it is achintyam. Even the mind you have to witness. It is a state where you have to abide in consciousness. The thoughts have to be witnessed. There is no support. The only support is consciousness. it becomes very difficult. Especially if the mind is not purified. This is called as Nirguna Nirakara Dhyana. And since it is difficult, our beloved Brahmaji, what does he do? He gives a technique to make this process easy. It is called as Saguna Upasana. Next verse. Umasahayam Parameshwaram Prabhum Trilochanam Neelakantham Prashantam Dhyatva Munirgacchati Bhutayonim Samasta Sakshim Tamasah Parastat Umasahayam Parameshwaram Prabhum Trilochanam Neelakantham Prashantam Dhyatva Munirgacchati Bhutayonim Samasta Sakshim Tamasah Parastat. Yes. So if this meditation, this kind of meditation is difficult for you, and it will be difficult, even Bhagavad Gita says, Kleshaha adhikatarastesham avyaktasakta chetasam. Difficulty is more for those who meditate on this nirguna aspect of Brahman. Now this meditation is called meditation on nirguna Brahman. You are not meditating on any gunas. Consciousness meditation is the most difficult if the mind is not pure. So what is the solution? So Brahmaji says, you start from one step lower. It is called as Saguna Upasana. Saguna Upasana means what? You are not meditating on God as consciousness. You are meditating on God as your Ishta-devatā. So what happens in Ishta-devatā meditation? Ishta-devatā will have lot of attributes, gunas. So now you can make use of your mind also. In the earlier meditation, mind cannot be used, but here you can use your mind. Now this is for those who can't do the higher one. So one step lower is given. It's called as Upasana. So who is the Ishta-devatā here? Lord Shiva. So his form is mentioned here. Umasahayam Parameshwaram. That Supreme Shiva, Lord Shiva, Umasahayam, along with Parvati, who is Prabhum, all-powerful, Trilochanam, three-eyed, Neelakantham, blue-necked, Prashantam, sitting peacefully. Meditate on this Ishta-devatā. Now in this Upanishad, we are talking of Lord Shiva, but your Ishta-devatā can be anyone. So what is the purpose? The purpose is this. See, in every Purana, if you find, there is one central hero. Every Purana. Shiva Purana, who is the central hero? Shiva. Vishnu Purana, it will be Vishnu. Now, if you analyze all those stories, what is the story? General trend is this. Devotee is in trouble. He is trying to get rid of his trouble through various means. He is not able to do. Ultimately, he surrenders unto God. And then his trouble comes to an end. Yes or no? This is a general story. Any story. Dhruva, Prahalada, Draupadi, Gajendra. You take any story. Story is only this much. Devotee is in trouble. And only when he surrenders totally unto the Lord, all his problems come to an end. He is at peace. Right? So now at the seat of meditation, what are you supposed to do? Of course, you must have an Ishta-devatā. And of course, you must have developed a strong relationship with your Ishta-devatā. So what Brahmaji is saying is, if the highest meditation is not possible, it only means Hrit Pundarikam is like this. It is gloomy. Right? Now, let the Hrit Pundarikam blossom. How to make it blossom? Meditation on consciousness cannot do it. It cannot, because it is nirguna. So then what has to be done? You have to do Saguna Upasana. So in Saguna Upasana, there are so many possibilities by which you can bring in noble emotions like surrender, gratitude, devotion, reverence, etc. So what you are supposed to do? Remember all those leelas of the Lord, of your Ishta-devatā. All those leelas, you will find that your heart melts when you remember all those stories. Isn't it? Either it can be the Puranic stories which you can take, or experiences in your own life. There are so many instances where we have been totally helpless, and when we totally surrendered unto that Lord, immediately grace, blessings, guidance came. Every one of us, we will definitely have such what? Experiences, isn't it? We were totally cornered in a particular situation. We were totally helpless. Then we uttered the name of the Lord, and then guidance came, protection came, solace came, peace came. And this will happen very many times in a devotee's life. So what has to be done is, in our life, we must have one Ishta-devatā. Don't have so many devatas. Only have one Ishta-devatā, whoever it may be. Rama, Krishna, Jesus, Allah, whatever. But there should be only one. Because if there is only one, you can intensify your relationship with that particular devata. If there are so many, then relationship cannot become deep. Because you have to spend time with everyone. Spending time with everyone means what? Spending less time with each. Don't dig so many places. Dig at one place, then you will get water. So too here also. One mantra, one Ishta-devatā. And slowly build that relationship. Whatever challenges you go through in life, tell him. Seek guidance from him. This way, slowly what happens is, you will have umpteen number of situations where you will feel clear guidance from the Lord. You will feel that you are very well protected by that Supreme Lord. Even in dream, if you see something terrible, automatically this name should come out. The name that should enter into your very subconscious mind. This way, one must develop relationship with God. Right? This is what is mentioned here. If this is not done, the higher meditation is not possible. Impossible. Develop a very strong relationship with one Ishta-devatā. You will find that all great saints and sages, they had one Ishta-devatā. Anyone you take. There is one place where they have surrendered. And what will this Ishta-devatā Upasana will do? It will develop your heart. Study of the Vedantic text will only develop your head. You will have all Vedantic definition of consciousness, but nothing will happen at the seat of meditation. Your head and heart must be fully, blossomed. Then only the progress will happen. So if in spite of reading all the Vedantic texts, nothing is happening, then understand, heart is yet to be developed. And the best way of developing heart is developing devotion for God. A very good example is our Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. What a devotion he had for Kali Mata. It is said that when he used to worship Mother, he used to literally talk to Mother Kali. He would literally feed her. And his puja would go for hours and hours together. Right? That is how he used to do puja. For him, it was a living entity, it was not a mere stone. So people started making fun of him, ridiculing him. What are you doing, foolish fellow? Don't you know it's a stone? You're talking to a stone? So one day what happened? When the entire villagers, they were all making fun of him, one day he felt so bad. He went to his mother and said, Mother, mother, everybody is saying that you are a stone. Today I want to test whether you are a stone or a real living entity. So it is said, Ramakrishna Paramsa took a piece of cotton, went near and kept it near the nostril of mother to see whether she was breathing or not. And it is said the cotton was moving. Mother means that Supreme Lord sees to it that your faith is not shaken. And when he saw that cotton moving, he was very happy. Yes, mother, thank you very much. Now I have no more problem. Let them say whatever they want to say. I know you are alive. This way he used to develop that relationship. So one day what happened? Totapuri, a great saint, a realized master, he came. So he saw this boy, Ramakrishna. When he looked at him, he felt that he is a fit student for the highest knowledge. So he said, come here. I will give you the highest knowledge. Come. You know what he said? Let me ask my mother. If she permits, then only I will come. Because he will never do anything without her permission. That was the kind of relationship he had developed. So he ran. Went to mother. Mother, mother, one person is saying he will give me knowledge. Should I go? Mother said, oh dear, I only have sent him. Go. See, Divine Mother knows that what he is meditating is not the ultimate reality. He is still stuck up with form. Mother knows it. He may not know. So, the very same Divine Mother sends the Guru. So then what happens? Now he was ready. He was available for knowledge. He obeyed all instructions of his teacher. So Totapuri said, now come on, sit down, meditate. Close your eyes. Fix your attention upon here, Bhru Madhye. What do you see? He said, I am seeing my mother. Oh, no mother and all, go further. The truth is beyond all forms. Go further. Now what do you see? I am still seeing my mother. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Then what did he do? He took a piece of glass piece, and then he just struck it at the center of the eyebrow. And then he said, now, if that mother comes, take a sword and just chop her head off. It was a very painful thing. But then mother herself had told that you must obey whatever he says. So then at the seat of meditation, it is said, Ramakrishna chopped her head. And the moment he did that, it is said, he went into samadhi. Totapuri was stunned. He said, that which took me 40 years to master, this fellow did it in 3 days. He went into that samadhi state. This is the best example we can give. How Ishta-devatā guides you step by step. So it is not necessary that you have to meditate on this pure consciousness and this and that. No. If you find it difficult, drop it. Stick on to your Ishta-devatā. Your Ishta-devatā will do the rest. Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. Bhagavan says, those who worship me with devotion, chant my name, it is my responsibility to see that they gain this knowledge. Tesham evanukampartham aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayami atmabhavastaha jnanadipena bhasvata. Out of compassion for them, I light the lamp of knowledge remaining in their heart. Where is Bhagavan? He is right there in the heart. He says, I light the lamp of knowledge by which he attains this ultimate knowledge. Right. So that is what is being said here. In case you find the higher meditation difficult, hold on to one Ishta-devatā, develop a strong bond with that Bhagavan. Bhagavan should be meditated as father, mother, protector, wealth, guide, everything. Fix your attention there. Any problem in life, take the problem there. get it solved through him. This is the responsibility of a devotee. As far as a devotee is concerned, anything in life, whatever is happening, happens through him. Whenever he finds any solution, he sees the hidden hand of God in everything. This way, develop a connect with God. So once that relationship is very strong, then you will find all the meditation becomes very, very easy. Many times the mistake we do is, we don't have this connection. And then we try to do the higher meditation. Not possible. An LKG student who is fit for A for apple and B for ball, if he takes a big medical book, encyclopedia, if you keep, at the most again he will chant only A and B and C. Isn't it? He will not understand anything. So let us start from the scratch. How beautifully step by step Lord Brahmaji is guiding, you see. In spirituality, if the progress is not there, there has to be some solid reason. You cannot say, I don't know why, I have been doing everything fine, but nothing is happening. If nothing is happening, somewhere there is wrong. So many years you are in spirituality and nothing happened. We pity you. That's all we can say. A true, sincere seeker must grow in peace, must grow in contentment, must grow in joy, in devotion, in dispassion. This must happen. You cannot say, so many years I have been in this path and nothing happened. No. That means you are not sincere. Right. More of it we will see tomorrow. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om